sometimes the common way is not the right way. And sometimes the most popular way is not the best way. Our offices in Indianapolis were right off the highway. Okay? There's a big major highway, 465, that runs right through our offices, and on 56th Street, we're sitting right there on the corner. And whenever I would invite people to our offices, I'd always say, do you know how to get there? And people wouldn't want to listen. They would say, yeah, I know how to get there. It's right on the corner, 465 and 56th Street. And I would say, let me give you directions. No, no, you don't need to give me directions. I know where it is. There was only one problem. There's no exit off 465 to get onto 56th Street. And I would want to tell them so badly, don't come on 465. You got to come on 56th Street. But they wouldn't listen, and invariably, we'd have big parties. We'd have people who were coming to watch us practice, and they would never make it. They'd be out there on 465 looking for the exit and saying, I can see the building, how come I can't get there? The big road, the broad way that sometimes seems so obvious, it's not always the best way to go. And if you're following that crowd that's out there on the highway, you may not ever get where you want to go. Now, when you do follow the crowd, you have to ask yourself, why? Why am I following this group? Am I following because I need everybody else's approval? Am I following to fit in? Or am I following because I really don't know which way to go? And sometimes that happens. Sometimes you have to follow the crowd because you don't know. My wife and I had the great privilege of going to the inauguration in January. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience. Bitter cold. I mean, extremely cold. And 4 million people in this little Washington, D.C. area, everybody trying to get to the Capitol, everybody trying to get to the inauguration. They had streets blocked off. They had people where you would never expect people, and the police didn't even know which way to go. I said, hey, I've got these orange tickets. I know it's a good seat because I got some connections, and I know I'm supposed to be right down in front. Tell me how to get there. And the police would look at you and say, hey, I don't know. So we saw this big crowd moving, and we just kind of got in the crowd and kept going, and we're walking like this. And in about 45 minutes, we finally saw a gate in front of the Capitol, and we said, wow, we finally made it. We got there. Another 20 minutes, we got up there. We showed the guy our ticket. He said, you got an orange ticket. You can't come in here. Your gate's over there. And I said, wow, an hour in this cold trying to get here, and the crowd was going the wrong way. Well, there was nothing I could do because I didn't know. Nobody else around me knew. And sometimes that's the way it is. But the sad part is sometimes, many times, we know the right way, but we don't want to take that path. We want to just follow the crowd because we're afraid to be a little bit different. So my message to the young people out here today is be careful of just blindly following the crowd, because you may not like where the crowd ends up, okay? We've got a lot of people following the crowd, and the crowd is going to some really bad places, okay? And I'm going to share a couple with you right now. For instance, in school and education, if you're following the crowd, you could be going to a tough place. Last year, Colin Powell did a survey for President Bush. This was before President Obama took over. President Bush asked for a survey. Tell us what's happening in our public schools. You know what Colin Powell found? 1 million high school students dropped out last year. That's one teenager every 29 seconds left school, okay? And that's all over the country. In the largest cities, the 50 largest cities in the country, is even worse. 48% of high school students in our 50 biggest cities do not graduate from high school, okay? Detroit area, where Cece and Bibi are from, and where I'm from, leads the way. 75% dropout rate, okay? 3 out of 4. Now, that's the statistic. That's where the crowd is going, but that doesn't tell you where that crowd is headed. Okay? Because they also found out when they were doing that survey that high school dropouts make an average of 9,000.